Item number 9, public comment on items not on the agenda. It is the council's policy to refer matters raised in this forum to staff for investigation and/or action where appropriate. The Brown Act prohibits the council from discussing or acting upon any matter not agendized pursuant to state law. Anyone would like to speak?
Looks like it.
Okay. Please line up.
Rose is back.
And when you approach the podium, please say your name and your street name.
Rose Erbach. I have 2 items that have been buried for a long time, and I thought I'd bring them to light. Now, the first one is the parking tickets that we on the east of El Camino for street sweeping are subjected to. And the people that are west of El Camino don't have to. How wonderful they can get away with so much. And then I'm thinking, you want to make money. You want to make money? Then apply the same ruling to the west as you're doing to the east. Besides, the dirt does not lay on the middle of the street. It goes to the curbs, whether you got a wide street or a narrow street. And then the other thing is that if you still want money, don't sweep those streets on the west of El Camino and use that time for doing other things. Now you can use that money because they don't have to move their cars. If they did, they would have to pay up like I did. You know, something happened that I really was very angry. My son had traveled 6 hours from where he lives to my home, parked the car at nighttime, forget about the next day was a sweeping day, because the Mondays from the first week to the second week changes sometimes, and then he gets a ticket. I mean, you can imagine how angry I was. I paid the tickets, I wouldn't let him touch it. But see, the people on the west of El Camino don't have to bear with anything. They're lucky. And that's not fair. That's not equal justice. Therefore, the second thing is Crystal Springs is a beautiful street, but it's curvy, it's hilly, and it's not the best place to have your meetings like now. We have to find, and nobody's talking about it, and I think you should, where can we put the new place for our council meetings closer into town? The only place I can think of is where Wells Fargo Bank used to be in that little park. Build a municipal building there, and then we can use it for council meetings and all other meetings. And we're closer to town, and you'll get much more people coming to the meetings than we get here. This is dangerous. We have no street, no sidewalks, no shoulders in case you have a little problem. So think about it. And that's why I wanted to bring it to life again. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose. Next speaker, please. State your name and your street.
My name is Helen Santoro. I live 1460 Santa Lucia Avenue. Basically, it's the corner house at the intersection of De Soto and Santa Lucia. I am here with some of my neighbors to basically share our concern and strong opposition to the proposed plan, the improvement of this intersection, and specifically to the drastic reduction in this intersection. We don't mind stop sign if the issue is safety, speeding, or maybe a small island, to allow traffic. But as we heard yesterday at a meeting where Mr. Medina was present, most of the neighbors really oppose this drastic intersection. I would like to point out also it seems to be a communication issue. The only 3 people that knew about this were Mr. and Mrs. Girard, who live next door at 136 De Soto, and myself. And I believe it's because if the project was to move forward, they would put 30 feet of cement in front of my house and 15 in front of theirs. So when we went around with a petition, which we got 40 to 50 signatures for this opposition, people were highly dissatisfied because they were really not aware of what was happening in their own neighborhood. So I think this should be, addressed. And finally, I want to thank Mr. Medina. I mean, I would not be here, or we would not be here if it was not up to him. We got notification, the three of us, last July. We had 3 meetings with some members of the city of San Bruno. We felt very frustrated. We felt that our concerns were not taken into consideration. That was up to last week when Mr. Medina showed up at our door and really took the time to listen to my concern, their concern. Then I saw him 3 days in a row around the neighborhood, and that made us feel a lot better, at least. And then we had a meeting last night where basically people were able to voice their concern and also learn about this project. So I think communication in the future might be improved. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
And I just also want to acknowledge Mr. Ibarra was also at this meeting with the residents on regarding the issue.
Didn't see him 3 days in a row. Busy.
I just want to say thank you to Mr. Medina and Mr. Ibarra for coming. I hope that in the end we can resolve this and not end up with another piece of paper with the same drawing on it. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Mr. Gerard. I reside at 136 DeSoto with my wife, and a smart man knows when to follow his wife and have very little to say. I do want to thank the mayor and the whole city council for taking the time to hear us tonight. It seems like a long agenda. I've never attended one of these before. Mr. Medina, thank you for your time over the past couple of days because, again, the better we communicate, the better we can find some resolve to this new situation that we have. I never thought after 36 years of living in San Bruno, I'd be looking at a 15-feet increase in curb size in front of my house. That's not the point. The point is we want to see improvements. We want to see traffic control. We're all concerned with our children and whatnot, all right? We just don't like the proposals we have seen that add 30 feet of concrete to Helene's house and 15 feet to mine and restrict the flow space-wise of traffic. There's got to be some other ways for us to communicate and work through this to find a solution we all can be happy with. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Joshua Romano. I am a frequent visitor of 136 DeSoto. As Mr. Gerard said, there's there's plenty of ways to go about this, but narrowing the street down is not one of them. It would just create more congestion. As he said, we'll just make it simple and easy, something nice, and if it's good, we'd work with, but narrowing it just doesn't work with us.
Barry Peterson, Scenic Court. I was contacted by Mr. Gerard about this, and I want to say I agree with him and Helene. I've walked through that intersection thousands of times in the past 30 years, and I see building obstructions to narrow the intersection not to be helpful. And I appreciate particularly the council members, Medina and Ibarra, inviting the neighborhood last night to hear about this. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And we're not going to, like I said, address this in detail tonight, but I can tell you that staff is working very diligently on a solution. So you'll be hearing more about this in the very near future.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your participation.
It was good to see you again. We'll see you again soon.